Illuminati is a game of secret conspiracies trying to take over the world. For those of you who have never played, we hope you walk away curious about giving it a shot. And those of you who are already fans, well, I hope you're left feeling that Illuminati Confirmed is in good hands. You know who Steve is, right?
Steve Jackson came out of the old school wargaming community, pushing miniatures around on a table in the 70s. And Steve had some terrific ideas for balancing games. He had several games that he did. Ogre was the first really big one. Car Wars was probably the biggest one for him for the longest time in the 80s.
Then another great game demanded Steve's attention. The original version of Illuminati came out in 1982. In the mid-90s, it was expanded into a massive collectible card game. But across every version, basic gameplay is simple enough. An attacker takes their power, minus the target's resistance, then rolls 2 dice. 10 minus 0 is pretty easy to roll, so let's say the attacker wins and now the group is under their control. Every alignment that the two groups have in common, like how the CIA and the Cycle gangs are both violent, increases the attacker's odds. It's just enough to track in your head once you know the 4 pairs of basic alignments and the 1 special pair. Liberal and conservative. Straight and weird. Peaceful and violent. And government versus communist. In the 90s, we would replace communist with corporate. Finally, criminals attract other criminals, but have no opposite, while fanatics all oppose each other. Some groups have a lot of alignments, others have none. Different Illuminati have different goals. For example, the Bavarian Illuminati is gathering power. The Servants of Cthulhu? They just want to destroy things. Discordia wants to make things weird. The first 2 expansion sets doubled the number of cards you had to play with, and the third, well, we'll talk about that later.
So Illuminati had always been a reflection of the world as it was then. It's always been a real balance in Illuminati in terms of surfing right up against the edge of the zeitgeist, but also feeling timeless. This version we call Illuminati New World Order. Right, mid-90s, there was a whole new host of sort of conspiracy things we were able to get our arms around. Steve grew the game design and the world of Illuminati. We had to mine more history and produce a lot more art. We did color, cards. That was what was expected. So we only had about 3 months to actually make the game. That was a bit of a marathon, but it worked out so super well. It was 25 years ago yesterday that I was flying to Wisconsin to do the pre-press check. The problem, I'll say, with Illuminati is that it's a big game. It's a simple game ultimately, but the math gets complicated and the board gets complicated. In terms of, if you have, the more people you have playing, then the larger an area of cards you're constructing, and then the more context you have to try and keep your eye on. And I never thought it would work as a computer game. And almost a year ago that I just thought of an idea that...
Let's talk more about gameplay. In the original Illuminati, some cards had special bonuses or other custom effects. In New World Order, every card had a wide range of special rules. One expansion introduced the orbital mind control lasers, which for the first time let the Illuminati change a group's alignment, bringing all kinds of flexibility to gameplay. Since fans were excited about altering alignments, Expansion Set 3 introduced brainwashing to add or remove an alignment, using tokens to help remind players what changes had been made. This was one of 2 reasons why the 3rd expansion set was literally a game changer. The other reason? Global propaganda. As world opinion sways, say more communist or more liberal, the power of groups with these alignments increases. When it's easy to change alignments, and alignments modify a group's power, considering any action against any group requires some serious time and attention. Steve brought a limited version of this to New World Order as themed sets of alignment modifiers. It made the game feel deeper, but at a cost. Games get long. Also in the original Illuminati, we had 15 different special cards to help bend the rules of the game. In New World Order, those 15 turned into hundreds of plot cards, vastly complicating gameplay. So which version should the video game target? We're targeting Illuminati New World Order, or INWO for short, and the 500 plus cards published for it 25 years ago.
But right now, the focus is to make the experience of the game super tight and to bring as much of the flexibility of the New World Order card game into the digital realm. We have several seasons plotted out. Actually, we have about 6 seasons of new content plotted out that we want to do regular drops on. So people can subscribe to the season and then they'll get all of the cards, you know, every week as we put more cards out there as part of that set. We'll have, you know, there's a magic Illuminati that they collect magic, and they have a lot of magical resources that we'll be introducing in the game. We want to do one set just looking at kind of the personalities that were so popular in New World Order. You know, back in the mid-90s, we had Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, and we had, you know, we had Manuel Noriega, and we had Oliver North, and most of those references aren't exactly hot anymore from a conspiratorial perspective. So we have new personalities we're going to be bringing in to replace these as public figures that people think might have some connection to the Illuminati.
Millennials, with art shown here by Illuminati New World Order artist Dan Smith, is one of the new groups you'll see, along with the Boomers. And since the real KGB rebranded themselves as the FSB, we have the former Soviet Bros. As long as we are creating all new art, even for existing cards like California, we're working to lessen the game's difficulty by making its complexity more delightful. What if instead of liberal government, you could make California peaceful and have that transform the art? Or say they instead become conservative, or peaceful criminal, or even corporate and fanatic. How we plan to bring the art to life, and other details about the game itself, are secrets that will be revealed in the weeks to come. Visit IlluminatiConfirmed.net to sign up for updates. Thank you for watching. Stay illuminated.